Oh, wow. What a night. What a build up. What a just historic week in UFC history. And what one word sums up this entire UFC 303 saga of events? Chama. Alex Poatan Pereira is the face of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. If we are talking active fighters in the promotion right now, there is no one bigger and better than Alex Pereira leading the charge for the UFC, stepping up in the big moments when it matters, saving monumental cards like this one and UFC 300, headlining Madison Square Garden multiple times, a two-weight world champion, multiple title defenses now in the light heavyweight division. We've never, ever seen a career like we are seeing for Alex Pereira. And I've said that very same sentence for the last two or three breakdowns of this man. And here I am again saying it once more in the aftermath of UFC 303, the face of the company, Alex Pereira, and still the UFC light heavyweight champion of the world. A second round finish over the very same man, Jiri Prochazka. Alex Pereira repeats history, this time with no real danger that he was facing like he was in that first Jiri fight, a fight in which he lost that first round on all of the judges' scorecards. This fight here, an absolute master class, an absolute shutout from minute one of the first round to the 13-second point of the second round, because yes, that's all it took. It took 13 seconds into the second round of this fight before the referee Herb Dean had to wave this fight off. I mean, I don't even know what to say about this performance more than it was flawless. It was near perfection. They showed a stat at the end of the first round that Alex Pereira was landed at one point. I remember vividly these numbers: 19 out of 24 strikes. And that wasn't even the full round yet. There was still a minute or so left. He dropped Jiri Prochazka at the buzzer of the first round. Jiri was definitely not able to recover fully. And because that is when they got off the stool to start the second round, Alex Pereira threw a left high kick 5 seconds in that dropped Jiri and led to the subsequent TKO finish with the ground and pound strikes. An absolutely vicious knockout, an absolutely incredible cap off to this crazy, crazy card that will go down in infamy for the UFC 303. Unbelievable, the drama to get to this point. A card that was supposed to be headlined by the biggest star in UFC history, Conor McGregor. He gets pulled from the fight due to an injury. He gets pulled with his counterpart, Michael Chandler. In steps Alex Pereira and Jiri Prochazka, both of which just fought April 13th at UFC 300. They step up to save this card, and from the biggest star in UFC history, the biggest star in present-day UFC, Alex Pereira, gets another monumental victory. He continues to etch his name in the history books, not only for the UFC, not only for the sport of mixed martial arts, but for combat sports as a whole across the board: jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA, everything, you name it. You can't now discuss the greats of this combat sports space without mentioning the name Alex Pereira. And so what comes next for the biggest star in the company right now, after he's quite literally popping his toe back into place after shoving it into Jiri Prochazka's brain? I don't know. People are pressing for a heavyweight fight to go chase greatness and to become the first fighter ever in UFC history to win a belt in three different weight classes. Will that be what the UFC decides to do next? Time will tell. I would say we likely see him fight one more time at 205 pounds. And that is simply because there's a lot to be had in the heavyweight division still before I feel Pereira can truly insert himself. And it's two things. Really, it can kind of lead to three things. we are getting the interim title defense from Tom Aspinall. I guess that's what you want to call it, as gross as that sounds. He is facing Curtis Blades next month, UFC 304 in Manchester, England. Okay, so we have those two heavyweights going at it in a rematch for the interim strap. Then it is rumored and all but confirmed at this point that the UFC has their eyes pointed toward Madison Square Garden, New York City, to have John Jones, the undisputed heavyweight champion right now, to face the greatest heavyweight of all time in the UFC, Stipe Miocic. So we have those two fights that are one for sure happening, one looks to be happening, but it was also supposed to happen last November and it didn't happen. I digress. By the way, do you guys have interest in John Jones and Stipe? I don't, to be quite frank. Anyways, those two fights are going to happen. Then what do? Does John Jones, if he wins against Stipe, retire like a lot of people are saying? Even what John Jones has maybe said in some random guy's DMs on Twitter? Or will he stay to face the winner of Aspinall versus Blades? Now, if John Jones and or Stipe, whoever wins their fight in November, does retire after that fight, then I think things get a lot more interesting for Pereira because he is just a few weeks away, timeline wise, from Aspinall versus Blade. So if those two fight and whoever wins that does not get to face the winner of Miocic versus Jones, then I think at the end of the year, probably not in November, obviously, but maybe December, the end of 2024 pay-per-view for the UFC, we could maybe see Pereira versus the winner of Aspinall versus Blades for the undisputed heavyweight title. But again, just so much has to really happen. So I just don't feel like Pereira's going to want to really wait on other people when he is quite literally trying to capitalize on every single moment that he can, being that he's going to literally turn 37 in a week's time. Time is against him in terms of really continuing to grow his stardom and cash these checks. I think we see him fight one more time at light heavyweight and then move to heavyweight, win or lose in his next fight. And so I think he will fight and should fight, if we're talking legitimate contenders at 205 pounds, Magomed Ankalaev. Ankalaev has had a lot of words to say on social media for Alex Pereira in the aftermath of this fight. I think that is a very, very good, interesting, and competitive fight. Yes, Magomed Ankalaev isn't the most fun fighter to watch every single time out, but he does have big finishes here and there throughout his career. He's on an insane win streak. He just knocked out Johnny Walker at the beginning of the year. That is their guy that has the rightful claim to be the number one contender in this division. And I believe Alex Pereira doesn't steer away from any challenges. I think that is what's next. So let me know in the comments below, who do you think Alex Pereira will be facing in his next fight? Will it be another title defense in the light heavyweight division, or will it be him moving up to heavyweight to chase history and become a three-weight world champion? Give me all of your thoughts on his future and his amazing performance at UFC 303 in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss my recaps of the most meaningful results every single week, my breakdowns of the biggest storylines heading into every fight card, and my thoughts and opinions on MMA news and fight announcements. You can join the community on social media at the BAJ MMA and follow the show on your favorite audio listening platforms such as Spotify and Apple. Podcast episodes release on those platforms every Friday and Monday. Have a great week, and I will see you in the next video.